Hello, good morning. Did you people get notification or you didn't get any notification? Shagun, did you get any notification? I'm afraid there was no notification, right? Was there? Was there any notification this morning? Okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Well, let me get your names. Shagun Fatima is the first one as usual. Bidemi Niyolushola. Daniel Atsenga, Kennedy Festus, Olaniyi Ayeni, Rere, Bose Fayajola, Omonike, Christy Bassi, Samuel Ugbegoro, Ngoya Sharis, Kennedy Festus, Austin Stevens, Rochelle White, Lala Shorunke, Goya Sharis again, Anastasia McDonald, Tumbo Son, Theophilus, Dr. Sufficient, Solomon, Davida, Nkiru, Mayowa, Maya, Anne-Marie, Nigeria Rise, Shegun Lawal, Emanuela. Well, welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and begin to share the link to this program. You know how to do that already. The share button is under the video. So let's go ahead and share the message and share the link. And once you are through doing that, we'll be ready to start. We'll be ready to start today's message. Today I'll be talking on why real humans don't live for themselves. If you want your children to be real humans, they must not live for themselves. You must teach them that life is not about self. Life is not about living for self. So if your children don't want to grow up as biomasses, if you don't want your children to grow up just like normal masses that you see around them, gray mass, if you don't want to be a normal, regular gray mass, if you want your children to grow up to be humans, fully humans, then one of the most important values you have to teach them is that life is not about self. Unfortunately, the world is so deceived that everybody basically is living for themselves. But a society that becomes aware or carried away only by self and by living for self, that society will be self-destroyed sooner or later. So real humans, real people don't live for themselves. They live for others, they live for purpose, they live for eternity, they live for their maker. So real humans don't live for themselves. It is one of the biggest deceptions of life to think that life is about you. It is one of the greatest disservice you could do to yourself, to just live for yourself. To just live for yourself. Well, as you are sharing the link to this message, I also want to remind you that I wrote a new book. And the book is called Insulted by Ungodliness. That is a book for people really who want to make a difference in their life. If you want to make a difference with your life, Insulted by Ungodliness is a book you really want to get a hold of. I heard there is a promotional effort going on, and they are selling it for cheap for people who are wow. It can't show normally, unfortunately, here. But there's a book like that, Insulted by Ungodliness. It's on Amazon, yes, and you can find it somewhere there. It's a revolutionary book. If you don't want to set yourself on fire, make you not touch that book. If you don't want to be on fire for God, don't touch that book. If you don't want to be a revolutionary, don't even move near it. Rochelle White said she already bought the book. Wow, New Zealand. You are supposed to be the farthest place from us, from the world, from all the rest of the world, but you are the first one to buy the book. Amazing. Okay, Rochelle White already got a book from Australia. She's laying a good example for us. So if you have the opportunity, go after that book, either on Kindle or paperback, but it's on Amazon. Anyway, here we are. Why real people don't live for themselves? Why real people don't live for themselves? Okay, if you have shared the link, like I said, let's continue. Why is it deadly and foolish to live for yourself? Or once you begin to think that life is about self, you miss the road. You know, when we used to grow, when you are a child, we were born to be dependent. We were born to be dependent on our parents. So in our mother's womb, we were dependent on our mothers. That's why we have the what do you call it? The cord that joins you, umbilical cord, that joins you with your mother. That is a sign of dependence right there, that you are not here by yourself, that the world is interconnected. And so when you are teaching your child, make sure, because this week we are teaching on how to become a hero to your child. So make sure that you teach your child that life is interdependent and life is about relationship. So the umbilical cord symbolism between a child and the mother is a sign for us to know that the world itself is interlinked and interdependent, that we are all dependent on each other, and that there is a bonding that goes on in the world. Just like the mother is living for the son or for the baby also eventually is supposed to live for other people, for the parents and for the world around them. Our life that we have was not given to us for us to live a life just for ourselves. Anything that you have is not given to you just to be used as for yourself alone. When you begin to concentrate only on your own life, when you begin to concentrate only on yourself, you abuse life, you complicate life, and life becomes much more difficult, much more complicated for you than if you had lived for other people. As a matter of fact, when you begin to live for yourself, you begin to see more problems in yourself. When you begin to live for yourself, you are engulfed in a lot of personal glory or personal failures or disappointments of life. When you begin to live for yourself and just think about yourself, about your well-being, you become callous, you become insensitive to the world around you. and you become insensitive to the good people around you and to the people who are good to you at one point or the other as well. So life is not about self. In fact, to live a life for yourself is to lose. Once you begin to live for yourself alone and think only about your survival, you lose. You are the loser. You lose at the end of the day. Okay. Today is the birthday of Tatiana, right? Is it today? Yeah, I think today. Tatiana, happy birthday to you. Tatiana is living in my house, by the way. So I'm going to have opportunity to congratulate her by myself. But just to join the team on Facebook, on here platform, I'm congratulating you and wishing you a new beginning, a wonderful year. You have your birthday at the best time, just before the new year, so that you have a new experience in the new year, that life will start afresh for you, and that you will fulfill heaven's purpose and desires on your life. Okay, so here we are. So life is not meant to be lived for self. We are not created just to live for ourselves. We are given life so that our life might be used to be a blessing to other people's lives. Our life is given to us to be used as a blessing for the world. Our life is given to us to be used as a blessing to God and to His kingdom. Our life is given to us to be used in the direction that God wants it to go. So our life is a trust from God. Our life is God's confidence that is imposed on us. So we take that life and live it the way the person who gave the life to us, the person who owns the life, intended that life to be. And the person who owns your life is not you. The person who owns your life is God Almighty. And He wants us to use that life for His own purpose and for the plan that He wants us to use it for. But let me try to open your eyes to how people who live for themselves, how they live, and how real men, real humans are supposed to live. When you live for yourself, you focus on your emotions. Your emotions become the determining factor of your life. So that's why we as parents, we need to teach our children. Teach our children not to live for themselves. Because when they live for themselves, they begin to be carried away by their emotions. So it's not principles that matter. And they are not guided and led by principles anymore, by truth. They are not guided and guided by truth or by principles or by values, but they are just guided by their emotions. And you parents, if you are a parent here, or even if you are just a human being, you know that it is one of the most disgusting things that could happen to anyone is to be around somebody that is just focused on himself or living only by his own emotions. When your children are not delivered from emotions, when they live for themselves alone, they cause all kind of havoc. They cause all kind of trouble, all kind of they cause hysteria, they cause conflicts, they cause quarrel. They quarrel with themselves, with their friends and their brothers and their sisters. They get angry at their siblings. They shout, they cry. They get angry at their parents. They just cause a lot of havoc all over. That is because they are not living for values. They are living for themselves. It is one of the most disgusting things to have somebody just living for themselves. Egocentrism is the lowest form of living. Is the reason for conflict. It is the reason for 90% of all evil in life. Life life loses its sweetness, its aroma, and its beauty when people just live for themselves and concentrate only on their own selves and on their own lives. Life is not supposed to be to be lived like that. So some people who live for themselves, they are all constantly concerned about their feelings. So it is their feeling that determines their actions. It is not their values. But for real people who are real human beings, it is their values that are supposed to define their actions. It is their values that are supposed to determine their actions, not their feelings. But for someone who is living for himself, feeling is his Lord. His feeling is his Lord. The way he feels is what he does. So the way he acts is not what God says. It's not how God says to act, but how he feels. The way he behaves is not how the word of God requires him to do. It's not according to some value system or by what is right or what is not right. To these people who live for themselves or who are consumed by themselves, their feelings is the truth. So the truth doesn't matter. And the truth is not what is preeminent and paramount in their lives. The truth is not paramount. What is paramount to them is their feelings. Since I am feeling nice, it means it's good for me. Since I'm feeling well, it means it's my own. And since I'm feeling bad, it means it's not for me. So it is a self-destructive way of life. And just people like that live in deception. Can you imagine yourself that you just say anything that feels good is what you are supposed to do? Well, that is the reason why, a lot of sins are being practiced without without the ability to even stop it. So people are doing evil without, it couldn't be stopped because they are living for the flesh. When you live for your feelings, you live for your flesh. It means your flesh is your Lord. It means you are captivated and imprisoned by that flesh. So to live for self is to live for feelings, is to be a servant of your feeling. And that means that if you don't feel like doing something, you don't do it. Well, the difference between failures and successful people is that successful people, they understand another principle. And that principle is that it's not feeling that determines actions. It is decision. It is goals that determine actions. Decisions, values, and value systems. Those are the things that are supposed to determine your actions, not feelings. So, for example, if I don't feel like loving you, if I'm someone that lives by feeling, if I don't feel like loving you or I don't like you, then I don't love you. Well, that's not right. So what about if other people don't feel like loving you or they don't feel like they like you, so they should also neglect you and disregard you? Nobody likes to be neglected. The truth is that everybody likes to be loved. So the principle of love should be put over the feelings. Either I feel like loving you or I don't feel like loving you. So principles should be paramount to feelings. But for people who are selfish, for people who live for themselves, it is feeling that they put above everything else. And that is catastrophic. Because when people put feelings above everything else, a wife could come home and say, you don't love me. What does it mean I don't love you? Well, you don't love me because I don't feel it. Okay. What about if you feel it? If you feel it and I don't love you, what happens? So your feeling is the reality? Well, that's the problem with people who live for themselves. They are captivated by their feelings. Feelings. One bad thing about feeling is that feeling is mostly telling you negative things. Feeling is only telling you bad things. Feeling is not always telling you to love your neighbors. Feeling is not always telling you to go pray. Feeling is not always telling you to love God. Feeling does not always tell you to do what is right. Feeling most of the time is telling you to do what is wrong. So that is a major problem for people who live for themselves. And that's why real human beings don't live for themselves. Real human beings don't live for themselves. Human beings live for their belief systems, they live for values, they live for their goals, they live for their purpose, they live for God, for their God, they live for others. That is how real human beings live. That's how real human beings are supposed to live. All right, so and feelings change all the time, you see. You could feel great in the morning, and then in the evening you're already feeling bad. So if that's where you are going to live your life, then you will not go to work, you will not be able to do things that you need to do. Feelings will betray you at any time. So since I'm talking about raising up your children to become your hero, one of the greatest things you could teach your child is to help him to overcome feelings, to help him to overcome his feelings, and to help him not to live for his feelings and by his feelings, and not to be captivated and not to be enslaved and become a slave of feelings, but to become focused on goals, focused on assignments, focused on purpose, focused on truth, focused on values, and focused on pleasing God, and focused on making the life of other people around him better than he made them. All right, so that's one thing you want to teach your child, not to live for feelings, not to live by feelings. Now, I always say feelings and emotions, but really there's a difference between feelings and emotion. So the second thing that the second problem that people who live for themselves do is that they are enslaved and betrayed and let down by their emotions. So there is a difference between feelings and emotions, okay? Feeling is what is going on inside you, what you are feeling from inside. It's more subtle, but that feeling now leads to your action. But emotion is more of your expression. Emotion is how you express or how you fuel that feelings with energy, the life that you put into that feeling. And that is a negative life or negative energy or positive energy. So emotion is different from feelings. Emotion is the expression of feelings, while feeling is this root and the source of feelings. Now, somebody can be feeling one way. Let's say you are feeling like you love somebody, but not really demonstrate love in your emotions. But in your emotions, you could actually be demonstrating pity, or you could be demonstrating hatred or anger, even though you feel love for that person, but you could demonstrate anger and hatred. So that is emotion. So emotion is what communicates feelings. Feeling is more subtle and it's more hidden until you express it, or unless you display it. But emotions is the amplifier for feelings. Emotion amplifies your feelings. Emotions is how you express those feelings. Emotion is what helps you to express and to demonstrate physically to others, outwardly, what you are feeling inside, or whatever message that you want to pass across. So emotions is your expression of whatever feeling or reality is going on inside of you, and emotion could be, like I said, positive or negative. You empower your feelings by your emotions, and you use energy. You put energy into your feelings, and so people who. And another thing with emotions is that just like feelings, emotions, are mostly dependent on instinctive emotions, are mostly dependent on what is going on around you. So it's about what you feel that you express. So it's a part of instinct as well, because most people just want to express immediately what they are feeling, and they don't have the ability to control that emotions or to hold it back. So emotion is another thing that is very negative for people who live for themselves. And the thing with emotion is that, unlike feelings, emotion is always visible. So people could always see your emotions, and emotion is always No, emotion is actually is a form of communication. Through emotion, you communicate to others what you want them to know. So through your emotions, people know who you are. Through your emotions, people understand what's going on within you. Through your emotions, you express to people who you are or what you are experiencing, or what is going on in your life. So emotion is not supposed to be a dominating factor in the life of a real human being. A real human being is supposed to put emotions under the power of his will. He's supposed to put his emotion under the power of his decisions. He's supposed to put emotions under the power of his value system. A real human being is supposed to make emotions a slave to his will. So what does that mean? That means that you should be able to manage your emotions. You should be the Lord over your emotions. For a real human being, he uses emotion to express the right things, the right values that he is having. So emotions really are given to us more to help us establish, express, and magnify the value systems that we have in ourselves. So for example, if I'm talking right now, I'm talking just coolly, not emotionally. But if I really want to get your attention, I could apply the force of emotion and begin to speak more emotionally, more expressing it. So that way I'm using emotions positively, because I want you to really get this thing that I'm talking about. So I am amplifying my emotions. I am putting energy into the emotions, and I'm making the emotions to really come across. I'm putting emotions into my word. I am amplifying my words through my emotions. I am putting energy into my word. That way, I am using emotion as a tool. I am using emotion as an instrument. I'm using emotion as an instrument of expression, but expressing my purpose, expressing my goal, expressing my words, and expressing my target, expressing my so that's the way emotion is supposed to be used rightly. Emotion is supposed to be employed to pass across a message, or to pass across an assignment. So through emotion, you are supposed to be using your emotions to accomplish your goal. You are supposed to be using your emotions for your purpose. You are supposed to be using your emotions to accomplish the purpose, the target, the intention that you want to establish that particular time. So let's say you have a value system or some virtues in you, all those value systems, you are supposed to put them under the power. You are supposed to put emotions behind them and use your emotions to push each value system. You are supposed to use your emotion constructively as a microphone, or like you use loudspeakers. So that is what emotions are for. So you are supposed to use those emotions to magnify, purposefully to use them to magnify our goals and our purpose. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to use their emotions constructively. So they don't use their emotions to accomplish their purpose, or to pursue their goals in life. Most of the time, we only use our emotions to demonstrate what we are feeling, or to express our frustrations, or sometimes we use our emotions to disguise our frustrations, or to disguise our true feelings. So a lot of people use emotions as an instrument of manipulation. So they use emotions to deceive people. So even though they are feeling angry, but they use emotions to laugh and to play a game. Or they use their emotions to cover up. They use their emotions to deceive. They use their emotions to, or they don't feel joy, but they use their emotion to pretend that they are feeling that joy and to deceive people. So people use emotions either uncontrollably, or they use it to do wrong things, for deception, as an instrument of deception. That is what biomasses do most of the time. But for you, if you are a real human, if you are a real personality, you are supposed to be using. You are not supposed to be under the power of your emotions. By the way, You are supposed to use the emotion to accomplish one goal or the other. And this is important for families, especially wives. You know, one of the greatest or most horrible things you could do for your family is to be a servant of your feelings, of your emotions. If you are a servant of your emotions, and if you don't learn to control those emotions, if you don't control and you are not on top of your emotions, it could bring a lot of quarrels, conflict, and and sorrow in families. You know, for as a man, I will tell you this, that that what most men hate mostly in their families, is hysteria or emotions, or uncontrolled, unbridled emotions from their spouses. A lot of men have left their families because of emotions. I'm going to show you a photograph here. Sorry, but this is not, so it is not to say I'm discriminating against women, right? But this is the picture of of what men fear most in families, in their homes. Men hate it, and they just dislike it when women come out too emotional, when they cannot control their emotions, and it's a big tragedy for the men, and they run away from the house, or they immediately file for divorce in such cases. So don't be a servant of your emotions. Rule your emotions and learn to use those emotions to accomplish positive things. Learn to use your emotions to accomplish your goals, your purpose, to please God, and to express the best that is in you, your values. Yep. Feelings. The problem with feeling is, let me show this as a picture for feelings. Feelings could put you in depression. Feelings could make you to be disgusted. Feelings could make you to go into yourself. Feelings could make you to be oppressed. Feeling could land you in self-pity. So that's the difference between emotion and feeling. This is feeling, and this is emotion. So I think that is able to communicate it. So emotion is more loud. Emotion is more like aggressive, expressive. Emotion is more loud, right? But feeling is more subtle. Feeling is more subtle. But it could lead you to depression as well. Right. But the two of them should not rule over us. Both feelings and emotions should not rule over real humans. Real human beings who are personalities are supposed to be ruling over their emotions, and they are supposed to rule over their feelings. They are not supposed to be slaves to their feelings. We are not supposed to express it, but we are supposed to put our feelings and our emotions under the power of our will, under the power of our value system, under the power of our goals and purposes and mission, and under the power and authority of of God and His will for us. So, what is the other problem with people who live for themselves? People who are biomasses. What is the other problem that gives you if you don't have a set of value system, or if you did not raise up your child to be someone of value, if he doesn't have a worldview or value system? The problem with those kind of people, apart from being slaves to their feelings and emotions, is that they are also slaves to public opinion. So people who are selfish, people who love themselves or who live for themselves, they are always, even though they live for themselves on one hand, but on the other hand, they are afraid of public opinion. They are slaves to public opinion. They are, the public opinion is a determining factor for them. They want everybody to think well about them. They want the public to talk good about them. They want to be nice in the eyes of other people. So they are always doing things, and mainly deceptive things. Mainly they are deceiving other people, so that people will not know who they really are. So that other people will not see that they are bad, or they have negative things, or they have weaknesses, or so that people will think nice about them. And it is this fear of public opinion that does not allow a lot of people to behave well. I mean, to follow to pursue what is right, because they don't want to be, they don't want to be out of the company. They don't want to be out of the society. They want to please people. They become men pleasers. They don't want to be the odd one out of the bunch. They want to be part of the society, part of the company, part of the team. So they want everybody to receive them as being normal. They want everybody to respect them. And this is a cheap way of obtaining respect. This is a cheap way of having people to respect you or to honor you. You could get honor and respect on your own by your achievements, by attaining your goals, by fulfilling your promises, by just living by your values, by being a person of value. You could actually gain more respect than by being under the influence of public opinion. The problem with people who don't have values, or biomasses, like I call them, is that they want to fit in the society. They want to be fit in the church. They want to fit in the opinion of, if majority of the church members think like this, they think like that. If that is what everybody is saying in the society, that's the way they will say. So they could call black white, or white black, because they are not strong enough. It's not necessarily because they are thinking like that. Most likely they have their own opinion, but they don't express their opinion. Most likely they have a different opinion, but they don't say it. Sometimes they say it in their kitchen or in their bedrooms to their friends, but they don't say the truth, what they really feel, publicly, openly to other people. That is because they are biomasses, because they are more concerned about preserving themselves, preserving their own reputation than preserving the truth. For people who are biomasses and who are egocentric, the desire and the desire to be preserved, for their reputation to be preserved, for their name to be preserved, the desire for them not to be ashamed or disgraced is stronger than the desire to live by the truth. So the truth is secondary to them. Values or value system is secondary to them. What takes preeminence in the life of these people is self-preservation. Self-preservation. They want to feel nice all the time. They want to make sure that everybody likes them. They want to make sure that nobody knows who they really are for who they are. They want to make sure that everybody, falls in line with their with the picture or with the imagery that they have painted about themselves. And so they will do everything to preserve that reputation and that image and expectation of people from them. So that's why we say these people are not totally human yet. These people are not fully human because they are not having principles. For you to be totally human or fully human, you must be more dedicated to principles than you are dedicated to convenience. You must be more dedicated to principles than you are dedicated to feelings or emotions or even the fear of public opinion. So people fear public opinion because, of the instinct of self-preservation. It is a form of instinct as well. So they want to preserve themselves by all means. And that is why they compromise. So the question I have is, for you, what is your attitude to public opinion? What is your response to people's opinion about you? What is your response to what do you feel about public opinion? Are you sure there are not some things you are holding back in your life today because of public opinion? Because you are afraid of going all the way? Because you are afraid of stepping out because you are afraid and concerned for what people will say about you? And there are so many people who are not stepping out to their destiny today because of public opinion. I think everybody should ask themselves this question. I think you should ask yourself this question. Are you sure you are fully doing everything that you should be doing right now and that public opinion is not holding you back? Are you sure that public opinion is not stopping you from starting that video project? That public opinion is not stopping you from, starting that NGO? Are you sure public opinion is not stopping you from, doing that, platform, something on social media? Are you sure that public opinion is not stopping you from, sharing even this message here? Are you sure you are not afraid what people in the church will say? Are you sure you're not afraid what your pastors will say? Or are you not afraid? Are you sure you are not afraid of the fact that if your pastors know that you are sharing these messages, that they are going to silence you and they are going to push you away? Are you sure there are some things that you are not doing today because you are afraid of what the public opinion will say or what society around you will say? Of course, I know there are some times when you need to be tactful or you need to be strategic and not quite display your secret or not reveal your plans or yourself. There are times for everything. There is time for everything, right? But when you begin to live under that fear, when you begin to live under the fear of the fact that you don't want people to say bad things about you, or you don't want to expose or reveal who you are because of some things, and then you are a slave still. You are a slave not just to yourself and to your selfishness, but you are a slave to the world around you. You are a slave to public opinion. You are not fully human yet. Full personalities know what they want. They are decisive. They are goal-oriented. They know why they are doing what they are doing. And they will rather convince other people, to come to their position than to allow public opinion to sway them from what they really believe. SCNMM is saying, is there really any difference between emotions and feelings? It means you came late. Go and get a copy of this message, and the way to get a copy is just share it. Press the share button. If you press the share button now, the message will come to your timeline, and you could listen to it again. I took time, about 5 or 10 minutes to explain what's the difference between emotions and feelings already. So, just anything you miss, just press the share button and you'll be able to listen to it again. So, by the way, if you have not yet shared the message, this might be an opportunity for you to do it. So you look under your video and see the share button, then you'll be able to listen to the message again and again. So the fear of public opinion is made a lot of people to compromise their value system. Okay, for example, I was saying the other day that I'm totally surprised that a lot of people are not speaking in Nigeria, are not coming out to speak against drug trafficking, and why mainly a segment of the society is carrying drugs. I said, why are you not speaking against this? Why are you not raising your voice? I don't want them to attack me. I don't want them to criticize me. So it means these people are not personalities. It means that these people are not they are not fully humans. Everybody that knows what is right and is not doing it because of public opinion means that it's not fully human. Anybody that knows, that has a value system and says, I have this value system, but I cannot fight for it. If you don't fight for your value system, it means you don't have that value system. It means that value system is not yours. It means that you are just saying that, but you don't really live by it. Those value system are not yours. Even when people say, but I don't do it, I don't carry drugs, I don't do it, but you are condoning people who do it. No, I don't condone it, but you cannot speak against it. Yes, I cannot speak against it because, it's not my business. And when you hear people say it's not my business, normally it is because they are not fully humans yet. It's because they are biomasses. Those are manifestations of biomasses. A lot of times, nobody talks about these things. You don't get to hear these things. So all these things I'm giving to you, they are manifestation of biomasses. Biomasses, people who are not fully human, even though they have legs and eyes and mouth and they talk and they dress and they have education or something, but that doesn't mean that they are fully humans yet. That doesn't mean they are fully humans yet. So people who are fully human, they know their principles. People who are fully humans, they fight for their principles. People who are fully humans, they are slaves and servants to their principles, to their values. They are not slaves to public opinion. They are not slaves to their emotions or their feelings. They exalt their values and their value system above their feelings, above their emotions, and above public opinion. So when the other day I was talking to somebody about some things in our country, and I said, why are you not talking about it? We talk about it. The government is bad. And the government is bad, but you said this thing is armed robbery is increasing. Why don't you talk about it? I'm afraid of what people will say. We don't know, oh my, how can I explain this to you? There is a difference between being biological mass, that is being human, just being human like a biology, like a human being, and being a person, being a fully grown human being. So it is totally different. For you to be a human being, or for you to be someone, a human being, you just need to have physical features. So unfortunately, people have reduced human beings only to physical features. So do you want people to say you are a human being only because you have body? Or do you want people to qualify you as a human being because of your qualities, because of the values you have? Of course, it is the quality, the content that is supposed to make you human. It is not your emotion, your body that's supposed to just make you human. It is your personality that's supposed to make you human. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That these are the things that people who are personalities do, and people who are not yet personalities don't do. So even though they are human in the physical being, but they have not grown up to be human yet in their person, in their personality. So a fully human being, a full personality does not live under the power of his feelings. It does not live under the power of his emotions. A fully human being does not live under the control and the power of public opinion. And then let me tell you another one that is really a big one for my country, personally where I come from, and for the West, and for the rest of the world. Will you believe it if I tell you that a fully human person does not live out of self-interest? The motivation of a fully human being is not self-interest. If the person that is fully human doesn't put his self-interest above everything else. There are some things that should always be above and over your self-interest. What are the things that must be elevated above your self-interest? Number one, values must be more precious to you. Values must be more highly placed in your life than your own interest. Values must be over and above self-interest. That's number one. Number two, love. Love must be placed over and above self-interest. That is why God said, that's why the Bible says that we should prefer others before ourselves. That is the greatest manifestation of love. The ability to prefer others, to put the interests of others above ours. That is the only personalities can do that. So you could be a Christian, and the fact that you are a Christian and you go to church does not mean that you are a personality yet. For example, how many Christians do you know who are able to always put the interests of others before themselves, before their own interests? How many Christians do you know that put the interests of others above their own interests? Whereas that is exactly the same thing that God says we should do. That is the elementary requirement of the Bible. Why do I say elementary requirement of the Bible? Because the Bible says to love your neighbor above yourself. Not just as yourself, but above yourself sometimes. I mean, to put the interests of others above yourself. So to consider others. But if you see any society where crime is spreading, where evil is spread about, where negative things, where deception and fraud and tricks, and scam is spread about, it is all because of lack of love. And these people might be going to church, but there is no love there. If they have not put the interests of others above themselves. Even churches don't know what is love. Even churches don't live like this. Even churches don't live to serve the interests of the members. A lot of churches are actually using members to serve the interests of the church. So there is no love in that kind of church. Because the Bible says that we should prefer others above ourselves. We should put the interests of others above our own. So if a whole church is not working for the interest of the church members, if a whole church is not working to make sure that the interest of every member is paramount in that church, and that the interest of every member is elevated above the interest of the church itself. If the church is not working to make sure that, and the senior pastors are not working to make sure that they are helping every member of the church to fulfill their goals, to fulfill their purpose, to discover their purpose, and they are not helping them to resolve their problem, to fulfill their purpose, it means that even churches are selfish. It means that even churches are guided by selfishness and egocentrism. So that's what I say. They are not fully grown yet. They are not values. There are no values even in churches. Even churches don't have value system. Even churches they are not fully grown. They are not even in accordance to the word of God. The word of God says to prefer others. Who should you prefer? Who are my neighbors? I mean, your neighbors are your members. First of all, who should you prefer above yourself? First of all, it is the members of the church. The members of the church should be the first people to experience the love of God. How do you make them to experience the love of God? By loving them above yourself, by preferring yourself above them. At least the church should practice that, even if not all members could practice that. So what am I saying? But most people, even churches, are just biomasses. They are not fully human yet. Because to be fully human, you must always put your self-interest at the backside. You must make sure that you don't just live for your self-interest. You don't just fight for your own interest. You don't use other people for your interest. But we live in a society where everybody just uses every other person for their own interest. People use their church members for their own interest. Church members use other church members. That is why it is easy for schemes like MMM to prosper and to flourish in our country. Because, everybody is used to other people using other people for their own interest. Everybody is just using other people left and right for their interest. And because they are using other people for their own selfish interest, nobody even sees danger anymore. Nobody even sees evil anywhere. Nobody even sees anything wrong. They are not seeing anything wrong because they are even saying, because I'm just smart. So I'm just smart, and because I'm smart. I'm smart because it's good for me. I'm smart because it is, I win for me. As long as I win, then it's good. As long as it's profitable for me, then it's good. Or as long as, I gain, then it's good. And that is unfortunate. So when you are a full human being, you don't put your interest above the interest of everybody else. That is egocentrism. That is what biomasses do. But when you are a fully grown human being, when you are a personality, you learn to hold back your own self-interest a little bit. You first of all consider, this thing that I'm doing, is it good for other people? Is it profitable to other people? Is it strengthening other people? How is it a blessing to other people? You consider other people's interests. You consider other people's well-being before you push your own agenda. It doesn't mean that you are not purposeful. It doesn't mean that you are not driven by goals and purpose. It doesn't mean that you are not goal-oriented. It doesn't mean that you are not pursuing your goals and your vision. But while you are pursuing your goals and vision, you are not doing this at the cost to the detriment of other human beings. You are thinking about the interests of people around you. You are thinking about the interests of the world around you. And you are thinking of how to better the life of the people around you. That is what it means to live for others. Not because you want something from them, not because you want, I heard that there are some churches that if you are not giving tithe and offering, that you cannot even see the pastor. That if you are not giving, that some churches, that it depends on how much tithe and offering you are giving before you could get attention in church. So the church is become egocentric also. So if the church is egocentric, who can teach values? Where can values come from? How can we blame the society that the value of the society is collapsing when the value of the church has collapsed, when the whole thing started in the church? And it is horrible. And the Bible says rather that we should rather look for the weak in the body and minister to the weak first, and that we should love those people we should love those people who are our enemies, and we should love people not because they love us. We should do good to people not just because they do good to us, but people who don't even do good to us, we should do good to them. We should invite people to parties and things that people that cannot afford to give us back, that cannot afford to say thank you to us. We should do things not for selfish interest, but for ego, for biomasses. For people who are not fully human, they do everything only for self-interest. It is self-interest that they put above everything else. So anytime you see a church that is putting self-interest as the paramount, the interest of and is not caring for every particular church member, you need to run from that church. That church has lost values. That church has lost value system. That church has lost the focus. The Bible even actually says it is the members of the body that are weakest, or that are that are weak, that should be cared for most. That the resources of the church should be used to support all the people that are weak, that don't have resources. It is not the powerful people that the church should be, focusing on, but it should be focusing on the weak. Because if the church itself is like this, then we now see that everything, the destruction and the erosion of values starts from the church. So, unfortunately, people who are not fully human, the way you know it is that they put their own interest above everything else. They push themselves, and they make sure that their own interests rise above and over all the interests of all other people. They don't think about doing good to others. They only want to use others for their own interest, and they are not thinking of how they could give back. So, and most of these people, they base their decisions and their actions on what is it going to give me. If you see people who are always basing their decisions on what is this going to give me, or what am I going to have from this, you want to run away from them. They are not fully humans yet. They are biomasses. But 97% of the world is biomass anyway. So most people live just like this. But that's why I'm teaching this, so that we will be different, so that we will not we will not be motivated just by self-interest in what we do, but we should be motivated by love. We should be motivated by God. We should be motivated by values, by value system that we have. We should be motivated by our goals and vision and purpose in life. We should be motivated by humanity at the end of the day. So these are the things you want to teach your son, or you want to teach your child. Teach your child not to be egocentric. Teach your child not to put his own interest above the interest of all others. Teach your child to know that love is the highest of all virtues. So let me quickly run through how a fully grown human behaves. A fully grown human, I'll just repeat this again to you. A fully grown human lives according to a set of value systems. A fully grown human makes himself a slave to his value systems. A fully grown human knows that values are more important than even himself. Why? Because everything visible, including myself, is temporal. Values are more important than every other visible thing. Values are more important than houses, cars, money, because everything visible, everything material is temporal. The only things that are eternal are values like faith, like peace, like long-suffering, like patience, like responsibilities, like leadership, like service, like love, like patience, like all kind of dignity of labor, like diligence, like hard work, like all wisdom, like understanding, like knowledge, things that are not visible. All these things that are not visible, like faithfulness, like commitment, like all these things that we call values, all these invisible values, they are actually more important than all the things that we fight for. They are more important than salaries, they are more important than work, than job, than business, than prosperity, than things that the whole world. So people who are personalities, they know this. This has gotten to them. They have realized this, that values, invisible things, invisible qualities of life are much more valuable, are much more important than the things that are visible. Most visible things are temporal. Most of them also are fake. So that is the one thing you want to know about real people, about real personalities. Personalities have exalted and put their values over themselves. So they submit themselves to their values. They would rather know. So that means that if they will need to suffer pain for the sake of their values, they will suffer pain for the sake of their values. That means that they will rather die. They are ready to die for the sake of their values. That means that their worldview is more important than how they are feeling, or what their emotions is telling them, or what the public opinion is saying. Secondly, people who are real humans and people who are fully humans, who are personalities, they live for a purpose. They live for a mission. They live for goals. They have a general goal, a life goal, a life purpose that they are pursuing. And they have elevated these life goals and purposes as the reason for their life. So they are living their life using themselves out, using their lives and wasting themselves, if you want, for the purpose of that goal, of that mission, of that life goal and vision that they have put before themselves. So let's say, for example, somebody says, my life goal is to save Nigeria, for example, or to see Nigeria change. They give their lives, they waste and use of their lives for that purpose. So life, therefore, your life, therefore, is given to you as an instrument. Your life, therefore, is given to you only as a tool to use for accomplishing a purpose. So the life is given for a purpose. Life is given for a mission. So your own very existence, therefore, your existence, therefore, is a tool, is an instrument, is a currency that must be spent, that must be used of for the sake of a goal of purpose. So people who are personalities, they know that life, physical life that they have is temporal, and that the physical life that they have will end sooner or later. So they must use it now. They must use it to accomplish a purpose. They must use it to accomplish a goal. So that's what personalities do. They use their life off every day. Not for themselves, because if they use their lives for themselves, they will perish. They know they will perish. So if they live their life only to invest in themselves, when they perish, their life perish, everything perish. And that's why people go to hell. People go to hell because they live their life only for themselves, or for physical things, or for empty things. They didn't gather wealth and treasure in heaven. So there is nothing waiting for them in heaven. Heaven is not waiting for them. They have used their life only for themselves. So when they die, their life dies with them. And that is eternal death. That is the eternal separation from God. And that's why people go to hell. They did not invest their life for something eternal. They did not live for the invisible values. They did not live for the invisible things that last forever. Only invisible things last forever. Only values last forever. Only things like love, where you live for love, for service, for helping others, for responsibility, leadership, for purpose, for goals, for mission. That is when you live for things that are not visible, for things that are not eternal. That is when your treasure is in heaven and your heart is there. That's why you are ready to sacrifice your life. Because if you sacrifice your life will still be dead anyway, sooner or later. You will still die anyway. So that your life that you are living must be lived in exchange for something. So, but personalities know this. Personalities are living their life, spending it, giving it away on daily basis for a cause that they have committed themselves to. They give their life, they sacrifice themselves on daily basis. They know the purpose of life, that the purpose of life is to sacrifice life for a cause, is to give out their life for a cause. So they find out the cause for which they are alive and sacrifice their life intentionally every day for it. That is why, unlike the biomasses are living for instinct. They want to marry, they want to have children as the most important thing in their lives. For biomasses who are not totally human, these physical things like children, marriage, house, job, they are more important for them because they are living on the lower level. They are living from the instinct and stimulus level. So for them, those things that people can applaud them for, what public opinion, oh, you don't have children, oh, you are not married, oh, you don't, those things are more important to them because they are biomasses. They live on the level of the flesh, of the physical. They live in the physical masses. I mean, the biological reality. So that things that affect their biological reality is what they are living for. For people who are fully grown up, they know that even though they can have children, even though they can have a wife or family, that is secondary. It's even number 2 or number 3 or number 5. But that life is not just for that. That is why when we die, we don't go to have children in heaven, and we don't get to have wife in heaven, because they are not this. The purpose for the real life. Life is for a mission, and that mission has to be eternal. That mission has to be invisible. So the invisible things for a real personality is more important than the physical things. So that's another thing that real personalities and people who are fully grown, fully human, another way to know them is that fully human people, they love the truth. They are in love with what is right. They don't compromise the truth. They are in love. They have that's what I call the mindset or the worldview. They have the right perspective of life. They know that the truth is not relational. They know that truths don't change. Truth are not conditional. Truth is always established. Truth is always constant, and truth is always absolute. So for biomasses, truth is situational. Truth, it could be relational. Truth could be under some condition or no condition. They are not firm, knowing that truth is absolute. That is biomasses. But for real humans, fully human people, they know that truth is absolute. They know that truth is constant, and truth is not situational and is not relational. So they will not be saying, oh, well, those young people in Nigeria, they don't have option. They finish university. What do you expect them to do? It means you are a biomass because you don't have a worldview of the truth. You don't have a worldview that it doesn't matter either they finish university without job or with job. They shouldn't do what is evil. People who are fully human know that there is no excuse for drug trafficking or for 419 or for scam. Oh, we are doing 419 or scam because the Europeans came to colonize Africa, so we want to get back at them. Because you are saying, oh, what can they do? I'm not doing it. But what can they do? They need to survive. It means that you are like them. It means you don't have a right worldview of the truth. The right worldview of the truth, that the truth is always truth. It is not relational or situational. It is not circumstantial. It's not depending on circumstances. The truth is always truth, and the truth is always to all men truth. So truth is not that, okay, I treat black people well because I'm black, and then the people who are white, I don't like them, I don't treat them well. Then you are not committed to truth. Because the truth is that you are supposed to treat all men okay. What is good for one is good for the other. Today I just put up a post in America. Something happened. The man that Donald Trump just elected to be the head of something in New York is saying that Michelle Obama, the wife of the president of the country, Michelle Obama should go to Zimbabwe and live among apes and monkeys and donkeys. That she cannot be respected. Obama and the wife, they are just like apes and animals and monkeys and donkeys. They should not be respected. They cannot be respected. So how can you say you are fully human? And this person is educated. He's not just educated. He's a rich person. He's an appointee, but he's a friend of the president-elect, and he's saying that, and a lot of other things like that. In another day, the other one was a mayor, a woman mayor, a mayor in one of the cities in America went and said that Michelle Obama she's a monkey, and she has the face of a monkey, and she should get out of the White House as fast as possible. So how can you say these people are fully human? And these are things that people have in them, or these are things people think about. These are things they only thank God because of the social media these days. That's why they get recorded. They don't even know they get recorded. That's why these things are coming out. So people who are fully human, to them truth is truth at all times. Truth means we are all born equal. All men are born equal. All men deserve to be honored and respected, not just because of how they look, or if they are handsome or they are not handsome. That's why Jesus said to love your enemies. Love everybody, not just the good ones or the bad ones. Love everybody. Even if they are not fully human, you still need to love them. So education doesn't mean that you are already a fully grown human. Going to church doesn't mean that you are already a fully grown human. It is how committed you are to the truth. It is how much truth is absolute in your life. It is how much truth is elevated above your feelings, above your emotions, above public opinion. It is how committed truth, what role truth plays in your life, that shows how human you are. Another thing that people who are fully grown people who are fully grown, another thing that you could see in them, how they live, is that people who are fully grown, they live by their conscience. They live by their conscience. They honor conscience. They listen to their conscience. They are led by the small thin voice inside them. Even though we say they are not believers, even though we say they are not born again, but their consciences are not seared. Like, for example, when I went to Bill Clinton's foundation, I went to his program one time, and I saw all kind of people there who we say are not believers. We say they are unbelievers. And Bill Clinton in that time, even when I was telling some of my friends, pastor friends in America, that I'm going to Bill Clinton's meeting, and he has invited me, and I want to, go to his meeting. People said, "Who are you going to? Bill Clinton's? He's whatever. He's an adulterer. He's a sex addict. He's a sex predator. He's this. He's a bad person." But you know what? When I met Bill Clinton, even though he had that particular weakness or he had that particular issue, but in human quality, I would rather be his friend than some of those pastors, than most Christians I know. He's a genuine human being, great man. And this man gathered money and using the money to go and treat people of malaria in Africa, or some people in Haiti, and somebody say, well, it is not all the money he used. Why don't you go and use your own money? No, well, it was not his money. He gathered it from people. You too also go and gather money from people and use. Is he not the one who gathered it? Is he not the one who set up his own fund? And he's doing it for his own selfish reason. We say we are Christians. Please go and share this message, please. Everyone who has not shared this message, just go look under your video. You will see a share button. Go share the message. Why are you saying that? Oh, okay, he was supposed to take care of 1 million Haitians, but he took care of only 100,000. So where is the rest of the money? Is that your problem? What are you doing? So but when I met those people, I met Bill Gates, I met Richard Branson, I met Warren Buffett, I met Bill Gates, I met all these people that we say they are unbelievers. But when I talked to them, sat down with them, they were giving out their wealth. Yeah, I was in the meeting when Warren Buffett signed a check for $30 billion of it. He was worth $40 billion, and he signed $30 billion to be used to elevate the problem of poverty in the world. I was in the meeting when Richard Branson signed off $10 billion to help people to resolve the problem of AIDS, that to do research for something. I was in the meeting when Bill Gates signed off all his wealth and resigned so that it will be used to resolve the problem of sickness in Africa. And we say they are non-believers. And we say these people are just unbelievers. What are you doing? They live more by their heart and by their, they have elevated values above self-interest. I am not sure how many Christians will sign off 90% of their wealth like that. Even 10%, they are not ready to give in church sometimes. Talk less of 90%. So that is the problem with biomasses. Biomasses, they live according to conscience when it is needed or when it is profitable to them. But their conscience has not been elevated above themselves. And then we point accusing fingers at other people that is bad, this one is bad. But he is doing much more better things. He is living in a higher level that as a human being, as a fully human. I'm not saying they are born again, but somebody might not be born again, but be more human than those who are born again. Some people might not be born again, but they are more personalities. They are more human beings. They are more fully human than people who are born again. There are a lot of born again people who are not fully human yet. But there are a lot of people who are not born again but are fully human. People who are fully human, they are people of principles. They are faithful people. They live by principles. So it doesn't matter, they abide by their principles. Even they are not religious. The other day I told you the story of a pastor, a big pastor in Nigeria, one of the top 2 to 3 biggest pastor in Nigeria. Went to London and they were searching him. And he gave them his passport. They say, who are you? Are you sure you are the one here? And they were delaying him and searching him. And he was saying, I am the one now. And they were saying, okay, tell us the message that you preach. He said he's a pastor. Tell us the message you preach on Sunday. So our pastor, big man of God from our country, from Nigeria, was telling them, young lady, I cannot lie to you. He said, I cannot lie because I'm a pastor. So the woman who is an unbeliever, an English woman who is not a Christian, said, so you cannot lie because you are a pastor. So if you are not a pastor, it's okay to lie. Or other people who are not pastors are allowed to lie. She said, I'm not even a pastor or a believer, but I don't even think like that. That, because I'm a pastor, I cannot lie. Any human being should not lie. Any normal human being should not, because that is this person is not a believer or not a pastor, but she has the right value system. She is committed to principles. And that is why the Western society is still standing better than the developing countries, because there are principles of law that is elevated above humans, above your desire, above your wishes, above your position. The law is exalted. The principle. So people who are personalities, they are like that. They are more faithful and committed to principles. It doesn't matter if they are Christians or they are not Christians. And that is why a lot of people in the West don't like evangelicals. Because what do evangelicals say? The evangelicals said, if you are a gay person, you are a bad person. Oh, we shouldn't talk with gay person. We shouldn't talk with, what do you call the women gay? Lesbians. Don't talk to lesbians. Don't talk to gay people. They are bad people. They are going to hell. They are agents of Satan. They are this. They are that. Oh, you did abortion. Oh, okay, you are bad. Oh, you did abortion. You did. Okay, you did. Oh, we just condemn people. But that is why the unbelievers don't understand the evangelicals. They hate us because they say, okay, because he is gay, does that make him less human being? You are supposed to, and the Bible didn't say we should hate gay. The Bible said we should hate the sin, but we should love people. But we don't know the difference. We just condemn the person and his sin. But we have got to learn to love this gay person, to love the lesbian, to love the abortion person who did abortion, or who did abortion doctor, or anybody who did abortion. We should try to love them, despite the fact that we disagree with their sins. But it's like Christians don't know how to put that balance in. Because we are afraid that if we love them and if we accept them, people will think that we agree with their sin. But no, we don't agree with their sin, but we must still love them. So, and if we cannot do that, it means we are not fully human yet. Either you are a Christian or you are not a Christian. It doesn't matter how much you are a Christian. It doesn't matter how much you are a pastor. Even if you are a pastor, even if you are an archbishop, but you cannot love people just because they do this or they did that or they did this or they live or they have different lifestyle than you, and you cannot love them. You are not fully human yet. People who are fully human, they elevate the truth. They are more committed to principles than their feelings. Yes, they don't feel nice about the fact that you are gay. They don't feel nice about the fact that you are doing abortion. But they still have to love you. This is the Bible standard. Sometimes I wonder who is a Christian. Is it these Democrats, And the people who say they are what do you call them? They are Democrats, or they are extremists, or they are what do they call them? They are secular people. Some secular people for me are more Christian than the Christians. In fact, when I want to look for real human beings, I don't look for them in the church anymore. I look for them among secular people. Because for me, the secular people are more committed sometimes to love at all times. And to love. Look who are doing good work in Africa. Look people when any tragedy comes, look who are the ones doing the thing. The secular people sometimes are more active. Why? Because they are committed to principles. Because they are personalities. So people who are personalities, sometimes, we don't know why, okay, for example, what was the name of the Angelica Julie or something? Beyond. Some of those people are doing more good works than some churches are doing. And you say, oh, Angelica Julie, she married one, she divorced, she married and she divorced. Because she divorced, who knows her heart? Maybe she's even more Christian. I mean, she's more, a human being and a Christian in her heart than some of us. Oh, some people talk all the bad things about Beyonce. I don't even know who's Beyonce, so I don't know. But, some people talk about all those kind of people as if they are bad or something. But who knows? Because I've been among these people. And I've talked to some of them. And I see that their heart, some of them, you don't find that heart in the church. We have more prejudice that doesn't allow us to become fully human sometimes. Sometimes we have more prejudice that does not allow us to even be Christians to the end. We think we are Christians, but we don't look like God. And what does God say? Love your enemies. Love those people who hate you. Don't just love the people who can give you something. Don't just love the people who do good to you. Don't just love the people who are good to you. Don't just love the people who look nice to you. Don't just love the people who do things the way you want them to do it. Don't just love people who are comfortable to you or with you. Don't just love people who you are comfortable with. Don't just love people who make you feel good, or who belong to your faith, or who are like you. Love all men. That is Bible. But you show me the Christians who are living like that today. Love all men, even the gay people. They will run you out of church. Love all men, even the lesbians. They will criticize you and chase you out of church if you do that. But really, we are supposed to love all men. Not their sin. Because in our churches also, even though we have church members that are not gay, that are not Beyonce, but all of them are sinners. You show me one church where there are no sinners, but we love them, even though we might not be aware of their sins, or even when we are aware of their sins, we don't love their sins, but we love them still. We still forgive them because they are part of us. So what is the principle here? But the Bible really says to love all men. What is the time, by the way? What is the time? Ooh, wow. Ooh, wow. Ooh, wow. My time is gone. The Bible said not to judge, isn't it? Don't judge. But what do? The people who don't judge most that I know who don't judge are the people who are secular. They're the ones who judge less. But we are the chief judges. Why the Bible says don't judge you? We condemn, we judge. We should judge sin. We should condemn sin, but love humans. Thank God Emerson said we are all guilty of this. We need to love others with all our hearts. And Marie said, Pastor Sunday, keep going. It's 1.5 hours already. I'm already 30 minutes late. Monica is a pastor. May the Lord help us to love all men and our enemies. Thank you so much for this teaching. Modupe said, wow, love is the greatest of all. Eric Osadola said, this is super and mind-transforming message. Katia says, it's time. Keep on preaching. Deborah, every message is never the same with Pastor Sunday. God bless you more abundantly. Nikki, Christian, all those worldly pop stars are living a better way of life than some of the Christians who are very judgmental. Well, my time is over, but I will be back here tonight with my children. My children will be with me tonight. First of all, tonight we are having Ask Pastor Sunday program, which is going to be my last program with Dr. Sufficient. And Dr. Sufficient will be sharing her experience with us. She will be sharing her experience of living with Pastor Sunday for 2 years. And she will be telling you who is Pastor Sunday in that program, Ask Pastor Sunday at 8 o'clock our time. That's 1 hour before our evening program. And then in the evening, I'll be with my children, and we'll be having, they will be sharing their experience, what it means to be Pastor Sunday's children. So today is going to be a very busy day. So we'll be there for like 2-3 hours tonight. So that is 8 o'clock our time. That is, and that is like, I don't know. Yeah, you check the program there. And 9 o'clock our time, we'll be going from one meeting to the other. So we look forward to seeing you people tonight. And if you have not gotten my book yet, I just wrote a book for the new year for people who want to start a new life. It's called Insulted by Ungodliness, and it's being sold now at a giveaway price. Insulted by Ungodliness. Insulted. If you go to Amazon before the end of the year, you could get it at a giveaway price. Insulted by Ungodliness. You see the link also there somewhere. So, and then those of you who want to come to Kyiv, I think the HMT will be happening from the 2nd to the 6th of January. From the 2nd to the 6th of January. So if you are coming to be with us, it's better for you to come maybe before the new year. To meet the new year here is an experience, the way we meet the new year here. So we'll be very happy to see all of you here in the new year on the platform. But tonight it will be wonderful. Insulted by Ungodliness. Yes, that's the name of the book. Insulted by Ungodliness. Go get your own copy. Pre-order is going on right now. Pre-order is going on. So let's go ahead and get our copy. And if you have not shared the link yet, you can share this message, and this is the way to get the message. For you to get a copy of this message, just press the share button. Once you share it, it will come to your timeline. So let's go and share the message right now. Let's go share the message. Let's go share the message. So thank you so much, and God bless you. Have a wonderful day and wonderful day till evening. Evening, we are going to be listening to Pastor Dr. Sufficient. She will be telling of her story with Pastor Sunday, the Pastor Sunday that you don't know. She will try to reveal another side of Pastor Sunday to you. And then in the evening, my children will be here today and tomorrow evening also. They will be here to share their own experience, what it means to be the children of Pastor Sunday. So thank you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Blessings. Bye.